Great. Okay. So we're beginning. This is a webinar called Support for Stressful Times. I've been doing it every week since mid-March, and the times aren't getting any less stressful for me. How about you? Feels like there's a lot of new stresses coming along. Isn't it good that we have things that help us? And starting with noticing, pausing and noticing how we feel and acknowledging that. It's kind of amazing how useful that can be, even miraculous. So we can even pause together right now and say, how am I feeling right now? Do you notice that if you're under stress, and especially the kind of stress where there seems to be a lot of urgency, a lot to do, a lot of demands coming at you, maybe that's your work, maybe that's your family, maybe that's the news, then we forget to feel our bodies. Have you been forgetting? So, let's do it now. So, if it's not so easy to feel your body, the easiest thing to feel first, what is it? I don't know. What is it for you? For me, the easiest thing to feel first is whatever's touching something, like the feel of my body on the chair. I don't know how I feel, but at least I can feel my body's touching the chair. And that kind of starts to feel good. Like, oh, right, my body's touching the chair. I can be supported by that. I can kind of let go into it a little bit. Do you notice that? If you're sitting, yeah. Oh, Ula writes, the pain in my knee is what I feel first. Okay, yeah. If you have body pain, you probably feel that first. And then you might feel like, I don't want to feel my body. That means I just feel pain. But you know what? Your pain would probably be glad if you would say hello to it. You know, your knee isn't trying to hurt you. Your knee is a fellow sufferer. It's hurting too. So hello, knee. Yeah, I know that's hard for you. Yeah. Wendy wrote, my body feels like an old crock today. Not sure. That sounds, I don't know. Not very nice, not very pleasant. So we say hello to that too. Yes, great. Carol writes, my neck. Yes. So, oh yes, Catherine writes, the itch of an old mosquito bite. Okay. That too is something you can acknowledge and say hello to. Yes. So we start by being aware of what's easy to be aware of in the body. And we're already benefiting from turning toward ourselves. And I've said before in these webinars, you can do this, turning toward yourself, noticing how you feel 100 times a day. Or just do it right now and see if you like it. And then we feel, okay, what's next? Maybe the inner body, the area of your throat, your chest, your stomach, your belly. Someone said to me, what do I do when I'm teaching a group and I find somebody who says they can't feel in their body? They never feel in their body. Well, I don't actually believe that. You know, you might think you never feel in your body, but do you have a sore throat right now? How do you know? You have to be able to feel your throat in order to know whether your throat is sore right now or not. So yeah, we can all feel in our bodies. When we say we can't feel in our bodies, maybe we're feeling the absence of feeling. Maybe there's a sense that there's something there that's hard to feel. Maybe you can even tell that some of your feelings are hiding. They're behind a wall or a barrier. There's a sense of avoiding, not wanting to go there. That's legitimate, but that's a feeling too, right? The feeling of not wanting to feel is a feeling too. And David says if people can't feel how their bodies, try pinching them. Maybe it's a good thing we can only meet on Zoom. Or you can have them pinch themselves. So what if you feel like there's something in the way of feeling how you feel? Does anybody have something like that going on? Like, I can't tell how I feel because it feels like there's something in the way. There's a block, there's a barrier, there's a wall. If that happens, what shall we do? I'm going to invite you to say hello to the wall. Make a relationship with the wall. You know, relationship, inner relationship, is part of the miracle we're talking about in these webinars. Like when you turn towards yourself 100 times a day, I smile when I say that because I'm I think that's an ideal to aim for, and it merely says something like let's do it a lot. You turn towards yourself, and when you notice how you feel, you say, hello. I'm saying hello to that. I'm sensing something in me feels that way, and I'm saying hello to that. So there's an inner relationship being created, developed, cultivated, carried forward, and it's that inner relationship that brings calm in stressful times, because you can have a lot of stuff going on. I know I do. But you can also know that you are more than that. And at some deep level, with all that stuff going on, you are okay. You are okay. What? Isn't that an interesting idea, that you could have something terrible here and something awful here and something shocking here, and say hello and notice, well, actually, all of that's going on and I'm okay. Anyway, I was asking you about if any of you have the experience of trying not to feel something, and Julia didn't, well, maybe it's hard on a mobile device. Anyway, Julia wrote, even though you can't see what she wrote, it feels like there's an awful feeling I'm trying not to feel. Okay, there you go, exactly. So the feeling of trying not to feel an awful feeling. How do we know it's awful? Isn't that interesting? Well, maybe the trying not to feel it thinks of it as awful, is worried that it might be awful. And I'm making this gesture, if you can see me, of kind of pushing something away, warding something off. And that's so understandable. I think many people do feel something like that, of a trying not to feel something. Maybe, whether that's trying not to feel something that we feel, or trying not to be impacted by events outside us, that effort to protect ourselves, to not go there, to not feel that. Fine, I'm not telling you not to do that, but notice it. Say, I am sensing something in me trying not to feel some awful feeling. I say hello to that. Noticing and acknowledging is the miracle. Dinah writes, not feeling can feel awful. Yeah, you know, that's often true. It's often the struggle to not feel something that feels the hardest. Well, we're getting out of that struggle when we do this practice that I'm showing you of saying, hello, I know you're there, to how we feel. Hello, I'm sensing, hello, I know you're there. And if it's not the awful feeling that you're saying hello to, it doesn't have to be. It's the closer one, the one that doesn't want to feel the awful feeling. That's okay. Works just as well. What else are people saying? So Nancy writes, what happens for me is a lot of anxiety about the process of noticing. I am sensing something in me feeling a lot of anxiety about the process of noticing. I'm saying hello to that. Yeah, Noah writes, something feels like there's an awful feeling I must avoid. There you go. So I'm saying hello to the one that feels there's an awful feeling I must avoid. And Kahn writes, most of the time I don't know how to feel. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you say more? Can you say that in another way? Because how you feel is how you feel. We don't need to learn how to feel. We're born with the ability to feel. The ability to feelings are interactive. They are between us and our situations. You have a nice meal and your stomach is full and it's not too full. You don't have to know how to feel satisfied. The satisfied at having a nice full meal, not too much, is already in the body interaction of eating. Yes, there you go. I wanted to talk to you a little today about the feeling of exhausted. Does anybody feel that these days? Maybe even more these days? Exhausted, tired, overwhelmed. Okay, Kahn is saying more about what they were saying about being confused. Yeah, confused is something to say hello to. Definitely. All right, I'm getting a yes to exhausted. And partly it's insomnia. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, I feel for you so much. I've had that myself. And exhausted and not sure why? Yeah, well, I'll just say that in stressful times, exhausted makes sense. And maybe you're not sure why because your life is like mine, calmer in some ways. I don't go anywhere. I don't have to stand in line at a restaurant. But exhausted makes sense because we are stressed. And if you're stressed, that is already exhausting. And that makes so much sense. Yes. And so people are talking about, Wendy, tired of feeling tired. Yes, 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 exactly. Exactly. So let me talk about exhausted. Yes. Susanna writes, exhausted with a mix of angry and resigned. And that's another thing I was kind of wanting to talk about today is these mixes of feelings where I don't feel just one thing, which might be simpler, but there's exhausted, angry, resigned, upset with myself for being upset because other people have it worse, suffering and tired of suffering, Noel. Right, exactly. Yes. Oh, Kamika writes, sometimes it feels as though I'm picking up on other people's emotions, which can be overwhelming. Yes, maybe you're a sensitive, empathic person, like so many people are who are drawn to this kind of process. And we also may have learned to survive when we were younger by being really good at tuning into what the people around us were feeling. Maybe even the people around us were dangerous if they were in a certain mood and we needed to really know what they were feeling. That's one possibility for how we ended up being super sensitive to other people's feelings. And it can help to use this acknowledging. I'm sensing something in me that feels this way. I'm saying hello to that. I'm sensing something in me that feels like it's picking up someone else's feeling. I'm saying hello to that. There's a kind of discrimination that happens there. Anyway, what about being exhausted? Okay, well, I think there's an extra special challenge in feeling things like tired and exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. I'm going to use the word exhausted, but use whatever word fits for you. You have a lot to do, I'm sure. And there's a feeling that if I acknowledge exhausted, it'll suck me in and I'll sleep forever and I'll never do anything. So something in us has a belief about what would happen if we acknowledge how exhausted we are. That there's a danger in even acknowledging how exhausted We are. So let's notice that, because I actually think it's the other way around. I think that my experience has been, if you acknowledge exhausted here and now in the present moment and at the physical level, you can, something will happen where it doesn't get worse. It actually begins to, what we call in focusing, carry forward. In other words, all feelings, when acknowledged, are enabled to evolve, let's say. We're not getting rid of them. We're not making them disappear. If we try to do that, they resist, of course, they should. But when you sense precisely how something feels, there's a possibility that there's a next step that occurs. All right, some of that's a bit complicated, I know. But here's the thing. Exhausted feels a particular way in your body right now. For some people, it might be an experience that's especially around the eyes. For others, it's sort of an all over the body, heavy in the bones kind of feeling. Weariness is another word for it. Think of, okay, so pausing to sense precisely how your exhausted feeling feels in your body is like a little nap. It has the equivalent effect of taking a nap. So, and then okay, I get it. I really get how exhausted you are. I feel the feeling of that. Inner relationship. So you are saying to the exhausted feeling, I get how exhausted you are. And then say to it, and no wonder. No wonder. Now see, if you're like me, we often fight our feelings. Why am I so exhausted? That shouldn't be so exhausted, right? Why is a critical word, shouldn't be isn't a critical word. That we take a whole different road when we say to our feelings, yeah, no wonder. You see, doesn't that feel compassionate and empathic? Yeah, no wonder you'd be so exhausted. Poor body. Poor body. I hear you. I hear you. So this is also a process of giving kindness to ourselves, not fighting ourselves. Settling in. Settling in. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Lucy. Love and no wonder. Great. Great. Oh, yes. And another word was drained. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Wow. I can't, there's so many interesting things happening in the chat. I can't even follow them all. But yes, Patty writes, a combo of drained, unfocused, and forgetful, which leads to irritability. I've been so forgetful lately. And I even forget what I've been forgetful about. And I want to say to myself, no wonder. Now that's interesting about having several feelings. Oh, wait, I want to just repeat what Jan wrote in the chat because it's so nice. Once I was able to stay awake after a red-eye flight by repeating, I'm sensing something in me that's so tired. Yay! That's such a great story. I love it. No, this phrase is so powerful. I just want to say it again. Some people are new today. I'm sensing something in me that feels. Now, I'm going to talk about several feelings, and we're going to need that phrase. I'm sensing something in me that feels, and then we're going to need the word and. So Patty wrote, drained, unfocused, and forgetful. All right. So I'm sensing something in me feels drained, and I'm sensing something in me feels unfocused, and I'm sensing something in me is forgetful. So each feeling gets its own acknowledgement with an and in between. Are you feeling several feelings right now or these days? Stressed, angry, irritated, sad, anxious, yeah, nervous. Try this. I'm sensing something in me that feels, and just use one feeling word, and then put an and I'm sensing something in me that feels, is another feeling word. That's a way to acknowledge multiple feelings. It's almost like each feeling gets its own space, rather than them having to jostle and fight each other for your space inside you. Yeah? So many feelings fighting for our attention, Carol, that's right. Yeah. Marcel, he asks, what about pleasant feelings? When I have a pleasant feeling, it doesn't need the kind of loving care that my stressful feelings need. Rather, my pleasant feelings are already giving me qualities of resourcefulness. So I can say, I feel joyful, I feel relaxed, I feel peaceful, I feel surprisingly peaceful today, and something in me feels this, and something in me feels this, and something in me feels this. One more little tip about multiple feelings, and this is a gift I received from my beloved colleague, Barbara McGavin. She taught me the sentence, I am the space where all my feelings can be the way they are. Do you want to try that one? I am the space where all my feelings can be the way they are. I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this, and I'm feeling this, and I am the space where all my feelings can be the way they are. Yes, Carol writes the container. It's a container, but it's a container that is loving and accepting. You know what it's like? It's like a lap. It's like you have a big lap, as big as it needs to be, and all of your feelings can come and sit on the lap. And they're all welcome. And they each get a space big enough that they don't have to fight each other. And notice how that feels when you do that. And if you notice that there's another stressful feeling after you've acknowledged all that's there, then your lap is big enough to include that too. Nice, nice. So your feelings are part of you. They're real, they're important, they have reason. We don't want to push them away, but they're not all of you. You are still bigger than your feelings. You are the space where they can be as they are. You are the one who can turn toward them. You can listen to them. You can learn from them. Oh, I didn't realize that bothered me so much. Feelings, emotions have gifts for us. Yes, Catherine writes, it's supportive to hang out with good feelings. Yeah, it's resourcing, it's supportive. Not just to hang out with good feelings, certainly do that, but give yourself resourcing experiences like spending time in the green places, even if that's just outside your window. And yoga, dancing. What else gives you joy? You know, frankly, I love knitting. I look forward to knitting. So cultivating the things that give us joy, add to our ability to turn toward those places in us that are stressed and say, hello, I know you're there. Hello, I'm with you. So inner relationship, oh my gosh, I want to summarize what we said today. And we started by saying that noticing how you feel and acknowledging it is something you can do 100 times a day. And it's miraculous how much difference it can make. We're talking about the idea of inner relationship, which is that you, the big you, can be with how you feel. We talked about how exhaustion is another thing that's important to sense and acknowledge very precisely in the body, just as you feel it, and that can be as refreshing as a nap. And we talked about multiple feelings being acknowledged one by one. I am sensing something in me this. I am sensing something in me this. And I'm sensing something in me this. And then I am the space where all of them can be the way they are. Wow. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. And a little bit of an extra thank you for those participating in the chat who've been so generative in your ideas and responses to each other. We'll do this again next week. Every week we alternate between 2 times. And so this is the early one. And in 2 weeks, we'll do it again at this early time. But you're signed up for all of them, I'm pretty sure. And right now they're scheduled through July. And I wish you a calm and peaceful time in your inner world, no matter what's going on outside. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you.